both of those particular parties are controlled by the same people. And if you do not understand anything about this particular talk today, understand that. The same people control both parties. And we need to understand that from this point moving forward.
So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
Okay.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them. End quote.
We all love Dave Chappelle.
Exactly. Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people like us. But now it's not necessary for us to stir up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung 1,000,000 times. I didn't understand that. They had to sting me 1,000,000 times. I'm still not going to join, but I respect it a little more.
Well, they thought it was a curse. Would you like me to show them how the sign of the curse works?
The sign of the curse?
Completely different.
How does it go?
This is the sign of the horns. A curse sign, the 2 fingers extended. This way, spread apart for sort of shotgun blast.
The sign of the horn, and then what happens? Is that it?
Well, the other ones too.
Yeah, what are the other ones?
The other ones, one of them's the pox sign, that's 3 fingers extended.
A pox on you?
A pox on you. During the Middle Ages, this was...
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, what we talking about right now is the Illuminati, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you what it means to me. The name Illuminati means the enlightened ones. You know something that somebody else doesn't know. Those people in those positions of power control and manipulate situations into their favor for their own agenda. Laws being changed, the FDA putting ingredients in certain foods for certain reasons. Mostly their agenda is population control, mind control. You're being manipulated. We're all being manipulated, you know what I'm saying? You learn that they infiltrate groups in key positions in those groups so they can control the decision making to move things, to move with their agenda, to control the mass popular opinion and to control the world.
So when you talk about false flags, you're talking about them creating incidents, as we've seen recently in Boston, which we can't expound on, which we've seen in London, which we've seen in New York and other places on the globe, where they want you to think that these particular things are going on so they can push a certain bill, or they can take away certain rights from the people. And I think a lot of times these bills are signed based on hype, hysteria, mass hysteria, created and put out there and fostered by the same people that are trying to take the rights away. So when you're talking about an incident going down, we have to look not only at the incident, but what's going on behind the incident and what bill are they trying to pass, what particular law that they're trying to sign in, and then what rights are at stake that they're taking and continue to take from the American people.
I mean, I can try, but then it just doesn't happen. I can sing notes and sing strong and do all these things that when I'm just by myself, I can't do. And I remember right before I performed, I raised my hands up, and it was kind of the first time I felt something else come into me.
You know, in Hollywood and in the industry and the stuff we do, there's a lot of like insider secrets to keeping your career going, and a lot of insider secrets to making things tick. And I feel like a fraud.
The Illuminati's takeover of hip-hop. In the 10th chapter, I talked about Common, who was invited to the White House. I talked about Ludacris, who wrote a song for Barack Obama, who was invited to the White House. I talked about Jay-Z, who signed off on gay marriage and endorsed it, who was invited to the White House. I talked about will.i.am, who wrote a song, Yes We Can, who was invited to the White House. And we all know Yes We Can backwards is Thank You Satan. We could talk about a few other people that was invited to the White House. But why is hip-hop in bed with Barack Obama, who is in bed with the global elite, who's in bed with the banksters, who's in bed with the neocons.
Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all. George Bush doesn't care about black people. Please call.
In the past few days.
In any way, has this time in here a lot of time to think? Has that changed X?
Yes, it has. It has. It has. It has gotten me closer to my true calling on life, closer to realizing, to actualizing my true calling on life, which is to be a pastor. I'm going to give my first sermon in the church. That's going to be like incredible for me, and I hope it'll be incredible for the congregation of that church. You know, I hope I'm able to reach somebody or just touch somebody, you know what I'm saying, and bring them closer to the Lord. I haven't been through what I've been through for nothing, you know? I've been through what I've been through to stop you from going through it, to be able to tell you about it, so that way you won't have to experiment to know what it's about, you know?
Still make music?
Yes. I actually have completed the gospel album. Yeah, you know, on every one of my albums there's been a gospel song and a prayer. And, you know, of course, with the image, they never, you know, made those songs in the singles except my 6th album, which is Lord, and they did Lord Give Me a Sign as a single.
So you're saying your music, in a sense, some of it's a warning?
Yes.
Tell me, I think people are curious how a guy, you sold how many records?
28 million.
And made millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
How do you end up in here?
I think everyone who's watching knows how I ended up in.
You've put out some very strange tweets of late about cloning.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about cloning? Do you want to get cloned, or are celebrities getting cloned?
Yeah, man. I think people should look it up, man. I don't really want to say too much, but I will say do your own research.
You sound like a conspiracy theorist.
I'm not really a conspiracy theorist. It's no more conspiracy. I know. And so it's really up to each person to do their own research and come to your own truths, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we as people listen too much to what somebody tells us, and we don't actually go background check and really say, you know what, that really don't add up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when you really look at a lot of different things and you start to think, and so what I like to do is I like to provoke thought. You know, and provoking thought is the least you could do. You can't make somebody believe something. You really got to just provoke thought.
It was this overall feeling about Obama in the black neighborhood as though he's the second coming of Jesus Christ. And we know that's not true.
If we really try to shake people out of their trance, as you and others are doing across the board, we can beat them if we can get people out of the trance they're in.
Yeah, definitely. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I always say, like, God always wins at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Good always gonna beat evil at the end of the day, man. No matter how bad it's looking, you know what I mean? No matter what's going on, you know what I mean? Good is always gonna win.
I read some of your letters, man, because, you know, a lot of them hit the internet, man. One of the things you were talking about a lot while you were in prison was a lot of the conspiracy theory stuff, Illuminati stuff. Do you still believe that?
Yeah, that's real.
Talk to me about, because I remember, can we bring this up real quick? It's just it's from your letter. I'm going to read it. It says, the exact moment in time when I discovered the entire planet was being lied to and was put upon a spell to keep us unaware of it was back in 1996, around the time Biggie got locked up for the tech in his house. And then there was something else here that I thought was interesting. You said Jay-Z knows the truth, but he chose sides with evil in order to be accepted in the corporate. Jay-Z conceals the truth from the black community and promotes the lifestyle of the beast instead.
There's a beautiful picture that depicts the bird of freedom, the eagle, which represents America flying high and soaring over all the other lands and governments and systems that are set up. Why do they use the phoenix, or why do they use the eagle? Simply because the eagle flies the highest. That particular science was stolen from ancient Kemet, but nonetheless, the Democrat and Republican Party are two wings of the same damn bird. So when we get into this particular discussion about Democrats wanting this and controlling that, and Republicans not agreeing to this and controlling the House and this kind of thing, we have to understand something, that it's the same people that control both parties.
So how do you see sort of the role of these conspiracy theories play? Like how is the black community being controlled through that stuff?
Just through food, the environment, medication, branding. It's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot of, you can go down the whole line. It's a whole web network of things. You know what I mean? That's what I believe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People are definitely being manipulated. You know what I mean? It's a business.
And what can you do as an artist? What can we do as media to change that?
We could, just be rebellious and speak about it. Yeah, say something.
Phenomena of chemtrails. And, when I was a kid, I used to see these trails in the sky all the time. And so that's cool. A jet just went over. And then you started to see a whole bunch of them. And next thing you know, everybody in your neighborhood was fighting and arguing and you didn't know why. Okay? And you really didn't know why. I mean, everybody was fighting.
And if you have a problem with the black on my face, then just mute, put a cover over the screen and just turn the volume up so you can hear what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with it, so I'm sure you shouldn't. Truth is truth regardless. Are you following me?
I think we're being run by maniacs, or maniacal mean ends, I think they're all insane. I'm liable to be put away as insane for expressing that. That's what's insane.
The that goes in that women's hair relaxer can burn your skin off. Now that's crazy. But, people put that in their hair. So, that's scary. That's pretty fucking scary to me, man.
There's so many wicked things going on in the government that, hell, we can't even tell you.
I think Bush is the most insanest motherfucker that ever motherfucking was. Crazy is crazy. They is not crazy at all. They just foresee a lot that a lot of people don't foresee.
The first line of the song says I was born on the same plantation in the United States of the red, white, and blue. And we live in a place now that feels just about like a plantation. We're all indentured servants. When I found out there were 8 presidents before George Washington, I wanted to smack somebody. I wanted to know why I was taught otherwise. Just tell me the whole story. I'll fill in the blanks, but don't tell me something that you think I'm supposed to know.
No problem. Okay, now here's the other one. What's your take on the Illuminati? Like, everybody's talking about that right now with the, certain images and stuff.
I ain't really down with no secret societies. You know what I'm saying? I think, all this secret shit got the world fucked up. So I ain't really down with none of that. Okay. They can do what they want to do. Right. They know where I stand on it. You know what I mean? My resume is and track record on that bullshit is public and been public for years. So they know I ain't down with that shit. And, to me, all secret societies are up to no good. Right.
Okay, whatever.
So we talk about the Illuminati takeover of hip-hop, and we talk about Jay-Z. And a lot of people say, well, Jay-Z is the Illuminati. Well, no, he's not. He's carrying out the Luciferian demonic agenda of the Illuminati. And then we say, well, what's Barack Obama's affiliation and association with the Illuminists and the Illuminati? You have to understand something. These same people may control AOL, Yahoo, Google. So we have to look beyond and past a Google search. We have to cross-reference. We have to connect the dots. We have to go out on the streets and get and have conversations with the average person.
I believe in both, actually, man. You know what I'm saying? I've actually seen ghosts. Some rappers become ghosts. They just come in the game and then they disappear.
Well, I don't vote. I have nothing to do with it. I got no dog in that race.
I think our country markets everything they market to us is fucking bad. The only thing that we do good are things that we know, we know better than, we know good enough to do, man. Our country's fucked up, man, and let's not blame Obama. The country's been fucked up. It's been fucked up since before I was born.
Wait, don't get scared and change the channel. Don't get afraid and turn it off and eject the DVD. Don't go to another YouTube station or YouTube channel. Just sit tight.
I did a sold-out concert in London. We played 21 nights in a row, and all the concerts were sold out. When I would watch television over there, and you'd see the United Nations feed, the direct feed from the United Nations, you'd hear them talk a lot about religion. You'd hear the Bible mentioned constantly. This is not what we're used to in the United States. It's almost as though there's no need for God and no need for religion and justice in politics. So there's supposed to be a separation of church and state over here.
One night I was in my home studio, and it had to be like 8 to 10 people off in there. And we had beats and stuff playing in the background and everything. That's how we used to do it, you know what I'm saying? Everybody doing what they do, smoking, drinking, and everything. And actually, it came down to it that dudes actually started being used by demonic spirits. And these spirits started speaking through them, you know what I'm saying? Devils started speaking through them, talking to me, asking me, you know what I'm saying, if I was going to sell my soul, telling me what I needed to do to take my career to the next level in darkness. I mean, dudes actually came up to me holding wads of money, saying, man, don't you want to make all this money?
The country's pretty up. All they do is market. They don't tell us and they just want us to wave the flag around, but they don't tell us. Like, they know what's going down before it goes down, but they never tell us. But we should get like a Twitter hit or something, or a DM, you know what I'm saying, from like the government, like, yo, duck, like this coming, you know what I'm saying? But we don't get, you know what I'm saying? Who are we? American people? They don't at us, man. We still kiss ass and go vote whenever they need us to.
The term occult is not that bad. Occult simply means hidden. But when it comes to these people, they speak a language far beyond your comprehension. Because they talk in terms of black and white magic. And you use occultic, linguistic kind of terms that you may not be privy to, or you may not understand. For example, George Bush II, Jr., when he spoke, for 8 years, you barely understood anything George Bush Jr. said because he stumbled through his words. But the phrases and the phraseology and the way he pronounced certain words, put in certain phrases along with other phrases. It's called doublespeak. The term is called doublespeak. And you can do the research, dig up Stephen Jacobson, Mind Control in America, backwards masking and doublespeak. George Bush Jr. was good at this. So you could be listening to a speech and you could scratch your head at the end of 30 minutes or 90 minutes. You say, what the hell did he talk about? But he got his message over to the people that he was speaking to because he wasn't speaking to you.
What's that? I can't talk about that.
Next question.
I can't say, I don't want to talk about those people, man. I heard they swing from trees with, like black ninjas will come and like sweep you away your whole life and nobody ever knew you existed, man. So I don't want to talk about those people.
Because he belongs to this elite club, that are controlled by the Jesuits. And we need to understand that this is one of the ones that are sitting next to Barack Obama to make sure Barack Obama carries out the agenda. The damn vice president? The vice president of what? The presidency is a corporation, man. And we need to understand that Barack Obama sits as the president of a corporation, which are controlled by corporations. Joe Biden just sits as vice president of that same corporation.
The Illuminati is a real thing. They're secret societies and organizations that are plotting to control the world and control our money and how we move and how we relate to other people. But that doesn't come into my cipher, you know what I'm saying, at all. So I don't feel the need to deal with it.
Barack Obama is controlled, bought, and paid for. So when you talk about gun control, the question here is it about guns or is it about control? Don't you ever damn think that MTV, VH1, and all of the other alphabet boys are not in cahoots and in bed with Barack Obama and those that control the media to carry out the agenda. That's how they carry out the agenda.
And I heard the rappers talking about selling their souls. I heard this one individual talking about how he was talking back and forth to the devil, and the devil was propositioning him to sell his soul in exchange for fortune and fame. I got my first record deal in '97. My roommate was selling crack, and I was smoking weed sun up to sundown, alcoholic at the time, eating ecstasy, you know what I mean, the drugs I was addicted. It was just a party lifestyle, basically 24/7. One night I was in my home studio recording with a bunch of people that I know, a lot of my friends. It had to be like 8 to 10 people in the studio this night, and it was just weird to me. I just knew something just felt different. And I had heard some of my friends saying the same thing that I heard some of these rappers saying in some of the songs that I was literally rapping on with them. They were saying that they were selling their souls as well. But, you know, being lost, you just think it's a lot of wordplay. I didn't realize that they were literally selling their souls. And it came down to it that demonic spirits actually began to speak through some of my friends. One dude actually even came up and had a wad full of money and said, man, don't you want to make all this money? And so it would go from person to person, like sitting around, like a devil would begin to just speak through each person, telling me in order for me to take my career to the next level, I would literally have to give myself over, bow down and worship Satan. But first of all, I was scared. But I knew if this was happening, Satan was real. I knew that Jesus was real. I knew that God was real. I had my pad out. We had beats playing in the background because we were writing. We had a home studio. And I began to just apologize to God for the lifestyle I was living. I don't even know how I even got to the point where I knew I had to repent. I just knew I just had to. So as I began to repent, like I would just read that apology out loud and just apologize to God for the way I was living. And every time I would do it, a person would literally get up and leave my house. After I rapped all of them out of my house.
Then we have to have someone in those offices, in the political arenas, that can actually speak for the masses of the people, both black and white and every color in between. Do we have that? No, the sellout cowards that are there as politicians up on the Hill and in the White House, that they won't utter a word to speak for the masses of the people. So then I ask the question to you, what the is democracy about?
I was offered a $2 million contract from a major record company, and they wanted me to do 6 albums. They wanted me to do 6 albums for a $2 million contract. But here's the thing, man. Man, it's just crazy because they didn't want me to rap about Jesus, the gospel, or anything. It was basically going to be stuff that they want me to rap about. It was basically going to be stuff that they want me to talk about and do.
The media, multi-ethnic destruction in America, forces it on the people.
I got an email from this major music producer out there in Hollywood. He sent me an email, told me to give him a call. I gave him a call, we was talking, and the guy was saying this. He was like, hey, Tiario, man, what's up? What's going on? And I'm like, nothing much, man. Everything's cool with me. I'm just on my grind for the Lord. And he was saying, I got some good news for you, man. Some real good news. So I'm thinking the good news is going to be based upon him giving me a deal so I could do my thing for Christ. But that wasn't the news. He said, hey, man, I got some good news for you. I'm like, what's the good news? He said, we want to offer you a $2 million contract. I said, $2 million? Nah, y'all, come on, $2 million? Come on, man. Come on, let's be realistic here. $2 mil? Man, I wanted that $2 mil bad because, and with that $2 mil, I could just make a bunch of moves for Christ. I could invest in movies and all kind of stuff I'm doing for Christ, and I could really help people. You see what I'm saying? So when he said $2 mil, my mind like, okay, man, $2 mil, this the deal I've been waiting for God. And And I said this. I said, all right, no problem. So what's the catch? You know, I said, so what's the catch? He said, we want to offer you a $2 million contract, and you got to do 6 albums. I said, well, 6 albums, that's really no problem, man, because I record music all the time. It's no deal. And I said, well, let me ask you this, man. I said, what about my royalties and my rights? And I said, because you know I'm rapping about God, and I said, you know I do my thing for Christ, right? And he said, yeah, man, we already know you do your thing for Christ. You do your thing for the Lord. We're watching you. That's what he said. He said, we're watching you. He said, I'm listening to your songs, man. He said, you have amazing talent. He said, I love your talent, man. You have amazing talent. He said, but here's the thing. He said, right now, we can't really sign gospel artists who are rapping about the things you are rapping about, and who are talking about the things you're talking about. He said, but we love your talent. He said, so this what we can do. In your 6 album contract, in your 6 album deal contract, we don't want you rapping about Jesus. We don't want you talking about the gospel and the things that you're doing. We don't want you to do that. He said, we're going to give you a whole new look for $2 million for 6 albums. And I said, man, hold up. I said, I can't really. I said, that's kind of crazy, man. I said, why? I said, I'm not about to do that and stop what I'm doing for Christ. I said, this is what I do. I do this for Christ.
U.S. and Al-Qaeda, which we know Al-Qaeda was something manufactured and made up by the CIA as the boogeyman. And there's always has to be a boogeyman. With every president that sits in the seat, there always has to be a boogeyman that they're fighting. I heard Dick Gregory say that if you see some of the tricks that the CIA are pulling across the global landscape, that to make Hitler blush is ridiculous. The mass murders that are going on to establish democracy in these places.
He said, man, we understand all that. And the guy was a real fast talker. He was like, we understand all that, but just like I'm telling you, we're not really looking for gospel artists to rap about the things you're rapping about, when this and that and that and the other. And he said, we're going to give you a whole new look. You know, we're going to change your image and you know, and basically we're going to hook you up with the right producers in the industry, man. We're going to get this thing moving because we love your talent. We love your talent. Now, see, he said he loved my talent, but they didn't care about the things that I'm rapping and singing about. They don't care about that. And he said for 6 albums, man. Then after the 6 albums, the $2 million is yours. So I said, man, I can't do that, bro. That's crazy, you know, just based upon me knowing about the blood sacrifice, the Illuminati and all that stuff. I said, man, I can't do that, man. That's crazy. He said, but hey, man, with $2 million, man, I mean, come on, you could take care of your family, you know, you could pay all your bills. I know you need he said, I know you need the $2 million, you know, and I'm like, man, no, man. I said, man, I can't do that. That's crazy, man. I said, that's not the kind of deal I'm looking for. That's not the kind of deal I'm waiting on. I said, I got to be able to do my thing for Christ. I said, God is using me, man. I'm not about to portray Christ for that, you know. And he was like, I understand all that, man. And this is what he said. He said, well, look, I understand all that, man, but hey, you got my number, you got my email. Whenever you change your mind, just give me a call. We are ready to give you the $2 million contract, a 6 album deal, but you can't rap about, you know, Jesus and all that stuff. And And I'm like, I said, all right, no problem. Hung up the phone, got off the phone with him. I'm sitting there tripping off the situation. I'm like, damn. So as I'm sitting there tripping off the situation, I think later on that day, the dream that I had kind of came back to my mind. And I went to piecing everything together. Man. And this is the part that freaked me out. The dream I had about that angel coming to me, I found out that angel was Satan. That angel was Lucifer. And he came to me, and that's why he told me, give it up. That angel told me, give it up. I got something better for you. That angel was talking about that deal. And that stuff freaked me out. You know what I'm saying? I said, man, Lucifer came to me in my dream and told me to give it up. I got something better for you. And what was and in Lucifer's mindset, he was basically trying to get me to portray Jesus for the money and sell my soul to Satan and the Illuminati. You know what I'm saying? And this stuff is real. This stuff is real, man. This ain't a game.
That control the media could probably fit right in this room with snacks, right or wrong. You're not talking about, you talk about gigantic corporations, but you're talking about a handful of people that control everything that we see, everything that we hear, everything that we touch. And I don't care if it's a movie that comes out, a magazine, a trend, they control it all. You probably have 0.1% of information that gets out through brave souls and individuals that control their own websites and news sources and can extract information and news from around the globe that can effectively reach the masses, not the masses, but those select few of the people that want to hear it. It never reaches the masses. It's not going to be all right until you raise your voice and speak against the madness that's going on in the government.
Well, he's my alter ego. He says what I can't say. He's mean. He's angry and he's vicious.
Yeah, cool. And we all know that they're going to use food as a weapon because they're already using food as a weapon. So for those Americans that are sitting back watching this, thinking that you're going to leave it up to somebody else to take care of your basic needs, you better think twice. The government has no intentions on looking out for the masses of people, black, brown, red, yellow, or white. Plain and simple. It's a handful of people that's going to look out for the handful of people. And guess what? You ain't part of the club, man. I think, didn't George Carlin say that? You're not part of the club, plain and simple. You don't have the card. You don't know the handshake. You don't know the code word. And they're gonna hire mercenaries like Blackwater and other militia and organizations to come in and do their dirty work. You know why? Because they don't want their hands dripping with blood.
Right. How do you handle that? Because they put your name in the press with a lot of rumors and a lot of situations that they try to put on Cat Williams. Do you feel ever the need to, like, I gotta go defend this and put out a story about who I am, or do you just let that kind of like roll off your back when?
Well, as you can see, I've let it all go for quite some time, and a lot of that is just based upon the fact that I don't really know how to complain because all of the people that I ever looked up to had to go through it too. So I know how much they talked about Martin Luther King, and I know what they end up doing to him. I know this same story about Jesus and a few of my uncles. So now I know that if your mouth is really, really big and you try to tell the truth for a living and you like to air people out, hatred is coming your way. I didn't know it was going to be this type of hatred, but you know, I'm concrete in all things because of He who strengthens me. So that doesn't mean I always make the right decisions, but I am going to stand by what I stand for, and I'm only continuing to do it because I was looking for somebody who was doing it instead of me, and I just must have missed them, you know what I mean? So at some point you have to figure out what example are you trying to be. If it's just going to be you going to make it and live happily ever after and go off into the sunset, then that's what that is. Otherwise, you're on the front line of this battle, and those of us who understand that this is a part of what comes with it.